Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany, this is the Brittany Reacts Show, and on this show we talk all things movie news, and we actually don't have like a ton of big news to talk about, but we do have a lot of like little news to talk about. The bulk of this stream this day is going to be about future projects and like possible projects and like teases and things that are going to be filming soon. That's the sort of news that we have this week, but we still have some fun stuff to talk about. Like Joker 2 is going to be a Jukebox musical, question mark? I mean, I already knew it was going to be a musical, but I didn't know it was going to be a Jukebox musical. Also, we have to talk about, what else did I put on the thumbnail? Lord, I forgot. Pirates! Pirates is getting rebooted. Pirates, I mean, they already kind of tried to reboot it, and I don't think it really worked that well, and I don't know if it's going to work without Johnny Depp, but we're going to talk about that as well. So we do have some fun stuff to talk about. How are you guys doing? Hi G Coffee, hi Nicholas Wilson, hi Josh Loves Movies, hi Nate, hi Astronomy, hi Vincent, hi Anna Bear, hi Alexander Padilla. Thank you for coming to the show. I deeply appreciate you guys so much. I do want to let you guys know, because it is Easter this Sunday. We actually do not have a show this Sunday. Completely slipped my mind last week that this upcoming Sunday was going to be Easter. So I don't think anyone's going to be coming to the show that day. And I obviously have plans, so no show on Sunday. Sorry about that. But I do want to just give you guys a warning up front. Hi Natanya, hi Vincent, hi DuBois, hi Bloomin' Alexander Padilla says, if the songs don't fit with the theme of Joker, it's going to fail. I mean, we're going to talk about Joker, but I still have hope for the movie. I'm still really excited for it, but I do have a lot of hesitations and pause as well. But like I said, we're going to talk about it. G Coffee, yes, we're going to talk about Velma Season 2 as well, because it's coming out next month, and I'm going to tell you guys what my plans are for that. Because obviously I feel like I have to talk about Velma in some capacity, because it's just such a huge part of my channel. So I will be covering Velma in some capacity. I will tell you guys about that later though. But anyway, so let's start off with the box office news. So the first thing I want to talk about is Ghostbusters. I did tell you guys already what my thoughts about Ghostbusters are. I did an entire review. If you guys haven't seen my review, please make sure you go and check that out. I thought it was honestly not that great. I thought it was kind of boring. I was very bored throughout the whole movie. I thought it was just kind of nostalgia bait. But it's doing pretty decent. It's doing okay in theaters. I was wondering if this was going to flop. I don't know if this is going to flop. It's not setting the box office on fire either, but it's not flopping. So Ghostbusters Frozen Empire earned $45.2 million on its box office opening weekend, and the budget is $100 million, which is pretty good. That's pretty cheap for blockbusters these days. So $100 million should be able to break even. That's what I'm going to say I think Ghostbusters is going to do. It's probably going to break even. I highly doubt it's going to make much more than that. If it makes any profit at all, I think it's going to be very small. But it's alright. It's alright. It's doing well enough that it's not embarrassing. It's not a flop. It's just kind of doing okay. And I think it's because the movie itself is just kind of okay. But at least that's my opinion. What did you guys think about Ghostbusters? Are you surprised by this number? Are you not surprised? Did you like the movie? Josh says, at least Ghostbusters debuted higher than Ghostbusters Afterlife. That's true. So hopefully we can get that animated Ghostbusters movie soon. Well, it seems like Hollywood's in a bit of a phase where they want to like have an animated and a live action version of everything. Like there's a new animated Jurassic World series coming out. We're going to talk about the new animated Among Us series. It's just very interesting how we're doing this. Like everything's got to have an animated version and a live action version. Like Hollywood's really trying to stretch these IPs for all that they're worth lately. Okay, Mauricio thinks it was mid. Yeah, it was pretty mid. Anna Bear says, not surprised, I'm going to wait for streaming on that one. Honestly, I say that's probably a good call, Anna. That's a good call. I don't think it's like so bad that you might not enjoy it at home, but if you went to theaters to see it, you might be like, oh, I could have waited to see that at home. That's kind of how I feel about this movie. Moving on, though. Now, audiences did kind of like it, sorta. It has an 86% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is actually very good. It's much higher than the critics' score, so it seems like audiences do like this more than critics. I kind of side with the critics on this one. I kind of agree with this score on the left. But, hey, if audiences like it, maybe it might do a little bit better than I'm thinking. Maybe the legs on this movie will be really good or something. I kind of doubt it, but just maybe. Some people really like it, apparently. Now, Kung Fu Panda is also doing extremely well, and I'm very happy about it because I actually liked this film. I know a number of you, I've gotten so many comments from people in the comments, people in my chat, just saying, like, you guys didn't like this movie? You didn't like Kung Fu Panda 4? And I'm really sad because I actually really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was cute, thought it was a fun family film. I enjoyed it. It crossed $265 million at the worldwide box office so far, so that's pretty good. The movie only had a budget of $85 million. When you think about it, I mean, the fact that DreamWorks can make their movies for so cheap, but Pixar and Disney have to make their animated movies for like $200 million plus, something really needs to be studied. Because why can DreamWorks produce a movie that looks as beautiful as Kung Fu Panda 4, and I thought the animation was fine, for $85 million, but then Pixar movies and Disney animated movies, they're costing like $200 to $250 million? I don't get it. I'm actually pleasantly surprised that the budget for this movie is so low, because I thought it'd be like a Pixar budget, but yeah, this movie is definitely going to make a lot of bank. In fact, it's predicted to end its theatrical run at around 550 to 600 million globally, which would make it the second highest film in the franchise. So I'm very happy that this movie is doing well, happy that they kept their budget down so that they're about to make a crap ton of money. This is the kind of budget that Disney needs to put their animated films at, to be honest. I think that they just rely too much on spectacle, and they're not focusing. I think almost giving these movies, Disney movies, too much of a budget gives them too much to work with. And I think that that's why we end up getting these kind of messy movies, because they are given too much money to throw at the wall, essentially. So I think maybe having a more constrained budget might help them creatively, actually. Or at least that's some wishful thinking on my end. What do you guys think about this? Are you surprised by Kung Fu Panda doing well? Are you surprised by the budget like I am? Tanya says you don't trust Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, I usually don't even talk about the audience reviews on Rotten Tomatoes because it can be easily manipulated, but it was right there, so I talked about it. Ethereal Dragon says they are rebooting Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead for some reason. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff in this show today that are like, really? We're working on that? Really? Miss Olson says, how can DreamWorks do that, but Disney needs to use $300 million? That's what I'm talking about. I have no idea. Are they outsourcing a lot of these jobs overseas? Is that what's happening? That could be a factor if they're like finding a way to get cheaper talent by going overseas. Maybe that's what DreamWorks is doing? I'm not sure. Astronomy says there are a lot of visually great animated movies coming out. Wild Robot looks beautiful. Oh, Wild Robot looks so great. I saw the trailer for that in a theater, and I was like, "Oh, what is this? I really like this." So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Wild Robot too. Josh says, "I'm excited for DreamWorks' future movies like the Wild Robot." What is that? Sorry. Doom Man? What is that? Dogman and the Bad Guys. Interesting. I've never heard of Dogman. But I like DreamWorks movies, so maybe I'll check it out. Well, I like most DreamWorks movies. I do think DreamWorks is pretty hit and miss, but I like most of their movies. But anyway, Dune is also doing very well. Dune crossed $570 million at the worldwide box office, and the movie had a $190 million budget. It's expected to end its global run at around $700 to $720 million. So this is a lot more than the last movie made. The last movie made only around like 400 and something million. Keep in mind it came out during the pandemic and day and date on HBO Max. So that obviously had an impact on the first movie's box office. So it's nice to see that this is a nice increase from the first movie. I think that there was going to be an increase no matter what, pandemic or not, just because so many people liked the first movie. and it had such good word of mouth from people like me who are ecstatic about it. But the fact that it's this much of an increase makes me really happy, and means that we're definitely getting Dune Messiah, and I cannot wait for that. I think it's a very deserving movie, and I only wish that it made more because I think it deserves it. I wish Dune was a billion-dollar franchise, to be honest. I think it's too niche to be a billion-dollar franchise, but I would love it if it were, but that's fine. It's very interesting how Dune inspired Star Wars, yet Star Wars is like 10 times more commercial than Dune is. Very interesting. Anna Bear says, it's wild to me they made Dune 2 that good for so cheap. Right? Right? I mean, 190 million is a lot of money, but for everything that we saw on screen, it's actually pretty impressive. I mean, think about it. We've seen movies. Just to give you an idea, do you guys remember last year the Haunted Mansion movie that came out? In it with Lakeith Stanfield and that woman that I hate, you guys know I don't like. What's her name? I don't know. I don't remember her name, but Haunted Mansion, the movie that came out last year, that movie was made for $150 million. Haunted Mansion was made for $150 million. And most of that movie takes place in an old, decrepit-looking house. That movie, Haunted Mansion, cost only $40 million less than Dune 2. What is Disney doing with their money over there? When you put it like that, that makes Dune's box office and their budget more impressive, but it also makes Disney's budget look even more ridiculous. How in the world? Yes, Tiffany Haddish. Thank you, Riaru. I do not like her. She's way worse than even Awkwafina. Anyway, how in the world did Haunted Mansion cost $150 million, but Dune Part 2 cost $190? That just means that Denis Villeneuve was actually using his money a lot smarter, and Disney does not know how to use their money wisely at all, because obviously they're just throwing money at stuff and hoping it works, and it's not working for them. Alexander, you thought I was talking about Jamie Lee Curtis? That's funny. I don't have anything against Jamie Lee Curtis. No, I don't think she deserved to win that Oscar, but I don't have anything against her. My issue is with Tiffany Haddish. She has a lot of issues with her. I'm surprised she hasn't been canceled by now. Anyway, we're going to talk about Euphoria as well, Alexander. So I'm very, very happy about this movie. Anyway. Now, interestingly enough, Dune Part 2 has already outgrossed Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, so that's a huge win for them. But also, $120 million of the dollars that it is made was made exclusively on IMAX screens, which means the mass majority, or at least a good portion, of the people who are going to see this movie are exclusively seeing it on IMAX, which is not normal. That means this movie is very unique in that it demands a huge screen experience, and it does. I can attest to that. But it's very interesting that it's made $120 million alone in just IMAX screens. We need a lot more IMAX screens because they always sell out, and here's how I think we can do that cheaply. Here's my idea that I've been thinking about for a while, and I'm kind of surprised that the IMAX company hasn't thought of this because I think it's genius. But I want to know what you guys think about this. So, here's my idea. What if, because I think the future of movie going is turning movies into events. What if you had a big projector screen, so the size of a giant IMAX, or maybe even bigger, and you brought the big projector screen to, say, an arena, and you set it up halfway like you would for a concert, and then you can invite people to the arena to watch the big IMAX screen on the projector. I mean, you could even bring a sound system in there like they do for concerts. I mean, I'm not saying you have to fill up the entire arena, but at least half of it? Because I've been to shows in arenas where they don't fill out the whole thing, they just fill out maybe a quarter of the way. This is what I'm talking about. Just have a big IMAX projector screen, put it in an arena for the big movies, and like have a bunch of people go to there. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that sounds like something you would actually want to do? Would you want to go to an arena to see a movie? Do you think that movies are becoming that eventized? Because I do. I think that for the most part, people are only going to theaters to see stuff that feels like an event. So I feel like the natural progression of that is then to just like put movies in rock concerts. You know what I mean? Do you guys think that would be interesting or no? Or is that too crazy? You would miss the comfy seats. That's true. The seats in arenas are not nearly as comfy. That's true. Okay, Astronomy thinks it sounds cool. All right. Josh says, movie theaters should build more premium screens for IMAX and Dolby Cinema. I totally agree. But I know it's probably very expensive. Because I'm thinking about like some of the movie theaters here in New York, and there's like not a lot of space to really add on to these theaters. So that's why I'm thinking they need to take these theaters out of the movie theater and like put them somewhere else. And the only way I can think of is like putting a giant projector screen in an arena. So that's what I feel like they should do. That's my theory. Yeah, like a sports arena, like where you would go to see a concert. Okay, it seems like a few of you think it's cool. Nate thinks it's a good idea. All right. If anyone at IMAX is watching, they're not. But if they were, you guys should at least think about it. I don't know. I think it's a good idea. But anyway, now because Dune is doing very well and Wonka did really well, Timothée Chalamet is having a very good year, and he just signed a multi-year film deal with Timothée Chalamet to collaborate on future projects as a star and producer. So that means that he now has a first look deal with Warner Brothers, which means that if he wants to produce something, if he wants to make something, that he has to go to Warner Brothers first, and Warner Brothers gets to say yes or no to the project. So that's a huge deal. Not everyone gets these kind of deals. You only get these kind of deals if you're a massive, huge star. So that means Timothée Chalamet is probably the biggest movie star we have under 30 at the moment. Just because there aren't a lot of young movie stars, and that's something that Hollywood has been talking about a lot. So that's really good for him. I like Timothée Chalamet. I think he's a good actor. I don't think he's a good Wonka. I still stand by that. But I thought he was good in Dune, and I thought he was good in Call Me By Your Name and several other movies. So I like him. He's a good actor, not a good Wonka. I will stand by that. I don't care. I don't care if it's unpopular. I thought the Wonka movie was not the best. But anyway, that's just my opinion. It still did well at the box office, so that's what they care about, not about the quality of the movie. So good for him. Do you guys plan on seeing more Timothée Chalamet movies? He's playing Bob Dylan, actually, in a biopic. Would you want to see him as Bob Dylan? Would you want to see him in something else? Like, what kind of movies do you want to see Timothy in? Do you see him as a movie star? Or do you think he's just gotten lucky with the right roles? Because I think there is an argument to make that he's just choosing the right roles. Like, working with Dune and Denis Villeneuve, obviously, that was probably going to work out. Doing some of his other films, like Wonka, which is a big name and IP. I mean, the Wonka name sold that movie, arguably, not him. So maybe he's just choosing the right roles. I don't know, but like it's still good for him, and no other actor his age is doing this, or really any actor. So you know what? Good for him. Okay, Black Star doesn't want to see him as Bob Dylan. You know what? I'm kind of getting tired of these biopics. There's like 1,000,001 biopics coming out right now, and I feel like they're all just trying to ride the wave of Bohemian Rhapsody, but not a single film has come close to that. The only biopic I can see coming close to what Bohemian Rhapsody did, and Bohemian Rhapsody made almost $1 billion. Maybe the Michael Jackson biopic. And the inevitable Taylor Swift biopic. But I can't see many other people getting close to $1 billion with a biopic. So the Bob Dylan movie might do well, but it's not going to do like Bohemian Rhapsody well. Anna Bear says he's probably the only actual Gen Z movie star. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he's certainly the youngest, biggest movie star that we have. Because even Tom Holland, even though everyone knows who he is, He's mainly known for Spider-Man. People don't really see his projects outside of Spider-Man. And Zendaya's also a massive star, but she also plays the girlfriend in a lot of major popular franchises. So it's like, is it really her, or are people just seeing these franchise movies? So yeah, he's got to be the biggest at this point. Gabby D says, I've only seen TP in the films that already have an IP, The Little Woman, etc. Oh yeah, he was good in Little Woman as well. So I think it's hard to say if he is the draw or if it's the film itself. See, that's what I'm talking about, because he did a cannibal movie. I think it was directed by Luca Guadagnino, and it flopped. He did a cannibal movie called Bones and All. I think it was either last year or 2 years ago. And it completely flopped, and it wasn't a major franchise movie. So, I mean, people could have seen him in that movie just for Timothy, but they didn't. So, again, there's an argument to be made that maybe he's just picking the right roles, but still no other star is doing this, so that's why he's getting this deal. A One Direction biopic! You're right, that's super! Yes! I think a One Direction biopic where they talked about all the drama that went on behind the scenes, I actually do think that could do really well, unironically. Do not underestimate the One Direction fan base. I used to be heavily a part of it. I don't know. Helixier says Tom Holland has done so many bad movies in a row. Yeah, he's really hurt his brand by being in a lot of crappy stuff. He needs to pick better roles. He needs Timothée Chalamet's sensibility when it comes to picking roles, because Timothy knows how to pick them. Tom, not so much. Even though I like Tom a lot. Now, Godzilla and Kong, or Godzilla X Kong, is tracking to earn $50 to $55 million in its domestic opening weekend. And the budget is $135 million, which, I mean, I get it, it's two giant CGI monsters fighting, but, like, also that's pretty big for this kind of movie. But anyway, 50 to 55 million is decent. It's gonna need to leg out quite substantially to, like, I think make a profit. I don't know if it's going to do that. If people don't like it, it's getting pretty mixed reviews. So it might do okay, but it also could flop. It just entirely depends on if people really like it. But it's a decent opening. I'm still on the fence if I'm actually going to see this movie. Because personally, I'm not. I only saw Godzilla -1 because you guys kept begging me to go see that movie, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart because it's still my favorite movie that I've seen in the past year. Yes, even more than Dune. But that doesn't mean I'm like a Godzilla Kong fan. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to see this, especially since the reviews are not good. Yeah, the movie looks really bad to me. That's the other thing. The trailer looked pretty bad. Confused Spaggett says, nobody knows Tom Holland outside of Spider-Man, while people know Timothy for Paul Wonka Laurie. Oh, is that from Little Woman? Yeah, that's true. Like we just said, I do think that Timothée Chalamet is a bigger star than Tom Holland at this point, for sure. I will watch Shogun. Okay, I will watch it, I promise. Anna Bear says, I will probably watch on streaming, but I don't want to spend the money on seeing it in theaters. I get that. I totally get that. Honestly, I was kind of looking ahead at, like, what are the big movies that I'm actually super excited for that's coming out next. And the next big movie that I'm, like, most excited for is actually Inside Out. And I think Mad Max is also coming out by then. I want to see that too. But there's actually not a ton of movies that I'm, like, super excited about until summer. So that's kind of a bummer for me. Anyway. But anyway, moving on from box office news. We did get a Bad Boys trailer for the new movie. It's basically just the two of them doing their typical buddy cop stuff. I mean, I think people like these movies because of the friendship between these two guys. I like how they open up the trailer, too, with the nice gag. It looks good. It looks funny. I liked the last Bad Boys movie. I really liked it a lot, actually. I thought it was pretty funny. So the fact that we're getting another one, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I think that I like this franchise. I like the last movie. I like these people. I think Will Smith desperately needs this movie to be a hit to revitalize his career. So I know Will Smith, more than any other person on this planet, is like crossing his fingers that this movie is a hit. Because if it flops, everyone's going to blame him. And they're going to be like, oh, it's because of the Oscar slap. People don't want to see him because of the Oscar slap. So this movie is really important because we need to know, is Will Smith going to keep people from the theater, or are people completely over the Oscar stuff? I'm actually not sure. I mean, on one hand, I don't agree with what Will Smith did. There are better ways to resolve your feelings than violently hitting someone on national television. But on the other hand, I do feel like the punishment he has gotten maybe not has matched the crime. Like, he's been banished from the Oscars for 10 years. And he's been almost blacklisted, pretty much, from, like, a lot of people don't want to work with him, which is why this movie is such a big deal. Because this movie only got made because he's, I believe, a producer on it. He made it, he basically willed this movie into existence. I didn't mean to do that. Will willed this movie into existence because he needs it for his career. So if this movie does well, maybe other studios will give him a chance. But if it doesn't, everyone's going to blame him. Do you guys think the Oscar slap will hurt this movie, or do you think people are completely past it? Anna Bear says, honestly, as someone who grew up with this series, I think I'm just over it. Yeah, I mean, the series is pretty old at this point. The fact that they're still going on with it is like, really? In 2024? Oh, Marla says he deserved it, in my opinion. Okay, that's fair. CD Wood says, I've never heard of this franchise, and I don't care for Will Smith, so I'll pass on this flop. Alright, well, maybe this movie will flop. I have no idea. Oh man, Will, I kind of feel bad for Will. I mean, I almost feel bad for Will, because on one hand, he put himself in this situation, but on the other hand, it must suck to be in this situation, so I kind of feel bad for him, but then also I don't. Okay, Cowboy Fan says, I stand by my guy till the end. Jade was the problem. You know what? I don't care for his wife or ex-wife or whoever the heck she is to him now, either, but he's the one that went on stage and slapped someone in front of national, not even national, global television. Everyone saw it. So, at the end of the day, he's responsible for his own actions, not his wife or ex-wife or whoever the heck. They're not even together anymore, right? Isn't that what she said? They're not even together anymore? Jada and Will Smith, like, didn't they say they're separated or something? I don't know. Their relationship confuses the heck out of me. I don't get it at all. And I know way too much about it to never have looked up a single thing. Way too much. Okay, Ryu is over it. Cowboy thinks it's too harsh of a punishment. Ethereal Dragon says, the fact that he is whipped is why I lost my respect for Will. Oh, okay, Ethereal Dragon. So you're more... You don't like Will because of how whipped he is by his sort of wife? Not because of what he did? That's interesting. Interesting. Okay. Moving on, though. Now, like I said, we're getting a lot of animated series for a bunch of different properties. One of them is Among Us. Now, if you guys remember a few years ago, there was this game Among Us that everyone was playing, even myself included. Like, I went through the Among Us phase like everyone else. I will admit, I was on my phone for far too long playing this game before they ruined it. I loved this game. So I would be the target audience, I think, as someone who played it. But even I'm like, do we really need an animated series? I don't know. But the synopsis is, members of your crew have been replaced by an alien shapeshifter intent on causing confusion, sabotaging the ship, and killing everyone. Root out the imposter or fall victim to its murderous designs. I mean, this is basically the plot of the game, too. But still, very interesting that we're getting a series for Among Us. Are you guys interested in an Among Us series? Did you guys play the game like I did? Did you get obsessed with it and then never touched it again? Like I feel like everyone did. Yeah, modern classic. Okay. Oh, it seems like a lot of you guys played it. That's great. That's great. Josh says, I'm intrigued to see what story they come up with for Among Us series, but the voice cast is great. That's true. They got, like, an A-list voice cast for this, which is crazy to me. Like, why are A-listers signing up for some of the craziest stuff lately? Laura B says, I didn't care about the game, but kids would love it. Yeah, I'm sure this will be fun for kids. Ooh, Anna Bear, an interactive Netflix series. That would be really cool. I actually really like those interactive series on Netflix, like the one they did for Black Mirror with Bandersnatch. I loved that. There's also another show called Carmen Diego or San Diego or something like that. And they had an interactive episode. I loved that. Yeah, I love those interactive episodes. That would have been really cool with this. But anyway, moving on. So we're also getting more Five Nights at Freddy's. Apparently we should be expecting not just sequels, but also spin-offs. So I guess because the movie did well, they're about to exploit the heck out of this franchise because that's what Hollywood does. Are you guys looking forward to multiple sequels and spin-offs for this, or do you think that that's not necessary? I understand making a sequel, like a 2, because the first one did so well, I get that, but it sounds like they have more plans than just one sequel. Like, dare I say they might be building a cinematic universe, because that's what every studio wants to do now. Do you guys think this is the right property for that kind of thing? I know there is a lot of lore behind this game, a lot of really messed up, scary, horrible lore, but a lot of lore nonetheless. Do you guys think that this is the kind of franchise that can sustain multiple sequels and spin-offs? I don't know about that. I feel like just give us like the one sequel for now, see how that does, and then maybe just make a third? I don't know. I feel like they're putting the cart before the horse here. What do you guys think? Josh Loves Movies says FNaF 2 is filming this year, so I think it's coming out in 2025. There's a lot coming out in 2025. Like, 2025 is stacked. Jocelyn Wolf says, as a FNaF fan since 2014, I'll give it a try, but if the quality goes down, then I'll leave. The kids can enjoy it at that point. Yeah, that's the thing. Can they maintain quality while, scaling up? I'm not sure, because, to be honest, while I kind of liked Five Nights at Freddy's, I didn't think it was a bad movie. I also thought it could have been better. So, if this is the quality we should be expecting for all of the movies, I'm not excited. Just give me at least one sequel and then let me decide how I feel from there. Oh, Shelly Lee, thank you so much for your super chat. You're always so kind and generous. I really appreciate it. Five Nights at Freddy's and a Pooniverse? Bring it on. I can't wait. And yes, I am kidding. I can tell. Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, the Pooniverse. I can't believe that they tried to make a spooky Winnie the Pooh. I feel like, yeah, I get it. He's in the public domain now, but does anyone really want to see something so innocent be tortured and cruel and scary? I don't think so. I just don't feel like people are actually into that kind of stuff. But again, thank you for the super chat. Yeah, the first movie wasn't scary. Exactly, Alexander. It really wasn't scary at all. It was more of like a weird effed up drama. It wasn't scary at all. So I don't know. I feel like I'm a little worried they're putting the cart before the horse here, but we'll see. Moving on. Now, let's talk about the fact that they want to reboot Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, there's been a lot of rumors surrounding this movie, like rumors that Margot Robbie is attached, Karen Gillan, Ayo Edebiri. There's been a lot of names attached to this supposed reboot, all women. It sounds like they really want a female lead for this movie. Now, it sounds like they want to do a reboot because they don't want to use Johnny Depp. Which makes a lot of sense. I don't think Johnny Depp even wants to come back. He made it very clear that he's done with this franchise. Plus, he just comes with too much baggage, too much history, too much controversy. Plus, apparently on the set of the last Pirates movie, he was high the whole time, so I don't think Disney really wants to deal with that. So I guess it makes sense to reboot it, but I'm not sure if it's going to work, because Captain Jack Sparrow is such a huge part of these movies. I mean, even when you look at the logo, like, that's Captain Jack Sparrow. He is this franchise, you know? Even when you go to the parks, like, you see Captain Jack all over Adventureland. Like, you can even meet him. And he's in the ride. So I just feel like if you take Captain Jack out of Pirates, is it still Pirates? Or is it something else? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like this movie, I need to see more from this movie before I can give like a final verdict on whether or not I think it will be a hit. But I do think it's going to be, it's probably going to struggle out of the gate, at least with marketing, just because of the controversy around it. I don't know. I don't know if this movie is even worth being made just because of the controversy alone. I feel like maybe this franchise just might need to be put on ice. Just because, again, I don't know if you can do it without Captain Jack, and it's just too controversial at this point. What do you guys think, though? Do you want to see a rebooted Pirates, or are you actually really excited? Miss Olsen says, a movie to canceled. I don't want that to be a reboot. So you don't want this movie. Okay. Helixir says, Pirate 4, I still haven't managed to finish. The franchise has run its course, even with Johnny nobody would watch. That's true. The last Pirates movie didn't even do that well, and Johnny Depp was in it. I do think that this franchise, it's another one of those franchises that's been going on for a long time, since like 2006. So it's been, this is actually it's almost a 20-year-old franchise at this point. It's quite an old franchise. I think maybe this is another one that just needs to be put to rest and stop being exploited. But, you know, Hollywood is not going to be done until they get every last dollar out of something. So maybe we're just holding our breath. I don't know. Mark says, nah, Johnny Depp isn't coming back because Disney did him dirty by firing him from the project prematurely. Then after his verdict, they tried coming back, but he said no. Yeah, he said he wouldn't come back for $300 million. That's a lot of money to say no to, so I think he's serious. He's not coming back. Laura B says, I don't think it would succeed if the main pirate is a woman. Yeah, Laura B, unfortunately, I agree with you. Anna Berry says, yeah, just let it rip. Yeah, that's true. I think we're all in agreement that this franchise maybe just needs to end. It's too controversial. I don't know if you really can do it without Johnny. And even with Johnny, the franchise was still on decline. So, yeah, we'll see how it does. Maybe the trailer blows us all away and we're like, oh, maybe this actually can be a hit. Or maybe they do cast Margot Robbie. I actually think if they cast Margot Robbie, there's more of a chance that it could be a hit because she's such a big star. I actually think it would have been more interesting for her to do this after Barbie than the Sims movie, because the Sims movie is so similar. But it's fine. I get she wouldn't want to be attached to something too controversial. Which might be an issue for a lot of other people too. Like, I can see this being an issue where not a lot of people actually want to be a part of this movie because of the controversy. So yeah, I think there's just too much baggage to this franchise at this point. I think probably it just needs to end. Riro didn't like the last one. Yeah, the movies have been getting worse too. The only good ones I actually think are really great are the first two. I think after that they all kind of fell apart, even the third one, in my opinion. But moving on. So, Avengers 5 is reportedly expecting to begin filming next year. So, this means we might actually get Avengers 5 much sooner than I was expecting, because if they start filming next year, we might actually get Avengers 5 in like 2026, which is still pretty late, but like at least it's not 2028, 2030 like I was starting to think it might be. We still have no idea who's going to be in this film, or who's going to be part of the Avengers. I feel like a lot of the current superheroes that we have right now in the MCU aren't strong enough or popular enough to be part of the Avengers. So I'm not sure what they're going to do about that. I mean, Obviously, Endgame became the highest grossing film of all time, at least briefly. So it's a tough act to follow Endgame. And I think it would just be really embarrassing if this movie did like less than half of Endgame, which I think is very, very possible, just because of the state of the MCU at this point. I'm still looking forward to it, just because it's an Avengers movie, and I like Avengers movies. But I just don't know, with the sad state of Marvel superhero fatigue, the fact that we don't even know who the Avengers are yet. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not confident about the Avengers movie, and that's scary. And if it's scary for me, that's gotta be scary for Disney. But I'm at least happy that they're filming next year, which means we're getting it relatively soon. So that's good at least. What do you guys think about Avengers 5, and what do you think about its prospects? And who do you think will be in the Avengers? Marla says no one cares about them anymore. Okay. Yeah, there's no Kang either. We don't even know who's going to be the big bad. Yeah, that's a great point. There's no Kang too, Cheetah Viper. So I have no idea. Ethereal Dragon says they ruined Wanda. Ant-Man and Captain Marvel's film series are dead. Exactly. I mean, they've binged a lot of their most popular characters, and a lot of the characters that are left are not as popular as the old characters. So that's why I'm like a little bit like, ooh, okay, I hope you guys have a plan to hype this movie up, because if this makes like less than half of an Endgame, I feel like that would be really embarrassing, but I could actually see that. I know, Natanya, where is the Wanda movie? Where is it? They want to make female superheroes work so badly, and they have one that's so popular, and they're doing nothing with her. I don't get it. Why were they trying to double down on Captain Marvel? But we have Wanda, and they're like, Wanda who? It makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me. Yeah. Nate says you're done. Yeah. Laura B says they have to build up to make expectations. Exactly. Like, where's the build up? Maybe there will be build up. I don't know. But right now, even just this movie being like 2 years away, there's not much hype for it. And I remember very clearly, like 2 years from Infinity War even, there was insane amount of hype because everyone knew where that was going, and that was going to be a big deal. No one knows where the story is going right now, so I don't know if they're going to be able to build up enough hype in just 2 years, especially when this year, there's only one Marvel movie coming out. Well, MCU movie coming out. So, I don't know. It could be great. Maybe they figure something out and they pull a miracle. I don't know. But I have reservations. Okay, Alexander thinks Thunderbolts is going to flop. Maybe. Du Bois says, I don't trust them with Wanda. We all saw how they did with Black Widow. That's true, unfortunately. I feel like, you know what? If the Multiverse Saga was about Wanda and her powers, using her powers to create a bunch of realities, and it causes some sort of, like, multiverse rip or something, and it's about the heroes trying to stop Wanda. Like, if that's what the Multiverse Saga was about instead of whatever the heck it's about right now, I think that would have been a lot more interesting. And that there would have been like a through line with popular characters that people could have followed. I feel like that's, when I watched WandaVision, that's what I thought they were setting up. I thought they were setting up Wanda to be like the big bad of the Multiverse Saga. But she's not. And then they pivoted to Kang, but then now they're pivoting away from Kang. So I'm just confused. That's how I feel about the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now. I'm just confused. Josh says, hopefully Deadpool and Wolverine leads Marvel in the right direction and fixes all the mistakes in the timeline. Man, that is so much pressure on Deadpool and Wolverine. I mean, I don't know how Ryan Reynolds is sleeping at night, because there is so much pressure on that movie. It has to be a hit. It has to be a hit. Marvel needs that movie to be a hit. And it not just a hit, but also like universally beloved. It can't be a poorly received movie. It can't be even a mixed movie. It has to be like everyone loves it, like Guardians 3. So that's a lot of pressure with a lot that they have to cover and achieve. So we'll see. I have a lot of faith in the director, Shaam, and I have a lot of faith in Ryan Reynolds himself. So honestly, between those two, I still have a lot of faith in the movie, but I am nervous. That is a lot that they have to achieve and a lot of pressure. Oh, I know, Professor Strangefinger. It's very, very sad. Moving on. No, now Spider-Man 4 is also reportedly set to begin filming between September and October, which means that we're getting Spider-Man 4 pretty soon. So I'm excited about that. I love Spider-Man. He's my favorite superhero. He always has been my favorite superhero since I was a little kid. So the fact that he still remains this popular today, I love. I think that's great. I still think that Spider-Man is probably the most popular superhero there is right now. He's definitely up there with Batman. So the fact that they're filming soon means that we probably are going to get this movie soon, probably next year. So that's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. It sounds like they already have an idea of what they want to do with it, because they are planning to bring back MJ, which makes a lot of sense. Zendaya is a huge star. It doesn't make sense to get rid of a huge star. Plus, Tom and Zendaya are reportedly dating, so it would be weird if they brought back one but not the other, you know? So it makes sense that she's coming back. I don't know what they're going to do, because obviously she doesn't remember Peter Parker anymore. But I'm sure they're going to explain that in the movie. Now, they don't have a director. There's still no director attached to the project, which gives me a little pause. I'm not going to lie. Sorry if you guys hear Prancer. It makes me feel like... No. It makes me feel like that they don't totally have a script yet. Like, if they don't have a director, there must not be a script yet. And I'm a little worried that they're just gonna run into this, like get into this movie without much planning, because that's usually how they do things. Like, they know they're bringing back MJ, but that seems to be it so far. And it seems there's so much reporting about the fact that both Marvel and Sony are apparently butting heads right now over the direction of Spider-Man. Apparently, Marvel really wants to take Spider-Man in a more grounded direction, while Sony wants to keep him in the multiverse space. And the last that I heard on that news was that they came to a compromise, which I actually think gives me a lot of pause. Because if you're compromising between grounded and multiversal cosmic, that means you're really sacrificing something from both, which means that it's not going to be enough of either. So I don't know if this whole compromise thing between them is going to work out. I personally would love Spider-Man 4 to be a much more grounded, real Spidey. Like, I really want this to be kind of how the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2 movie was, where we see Spider-Man just trying to live his job, live his life as an adult, try to get by, try to pay bills. I really want to see Peter Parker go through that too. So that's what I would love Spider-Man 4 to be about. And maybe he meets Miles Morales. That would be cool too. I don't need all this cosmic multiverse stuff. I just want a movie about Spider-Man. And the fact that there's no director gives me a little bit of worry, because I feel like they're probably just going to rush into this. A director should be the one making all these calls, especially if they're planning to film this year. So obviously the studios are the ones making the call, not the director. But I guess that's pretty normal for these Marvel movies. But anyway, yeah. I'm still looking forward to it. It's weird that they don't have a director, but I still think it could be good if they make it more grounded. I really, really hope they don't double down on the multiverse stuff. I think they need to get away from that. Spider-Man is best when he's just the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, not this trying to be Iron Man stuff. Astronomy says they should have a grounded street-level storyline with MJ and Ned getting their memories back at the end. Yes, Astronomy, that's exactly what I would love. I would love just a simple, grounded, street-level story from them. Like, that's all I want. That's literally all I want. Anna, same. I think Tobey Maguire is probably most people's favorite Spider-Man, just because he's the first, and I really think those movies are really good. So yeah, I think a lot of people love Tobey. Anna, yeah, you agree, leave the multiverse behind. Unknown Adventurer says, isn't the Into the Spider-Verse movies kind of grounded but fun? I would say no. I would say especially the last Into the Spider-Verse movie, they not even doubled, they tripled down on the multiverse stuff. Now, they did it really well. The movie is still really good. But I just don't have faith that Sony and Marvel can pull off the multiverse concept as well as the Spider-Verse movies, because they haven't proved that they can do that yet. They've tried to do the multiverse, but every time they do the multiverse, they end up confusing people, or they rewrite the rules, or it just becomes super messy. I feel like the Into the Spider-Verse movies are very tight movies because they know what they're doing. They have a script. Well, maybe they don't have a script, but they at least know what their aim is, their goal is. And they do the multiverse thing well, I feel. I just don't have a lot of faith that, like, Marvel and Sony will be able to do the multiverse thing well. That's why I think Spider-Verse is able to get away with it, but I don't think, like, the live-action movies can get away with it. Josh says, the Spider-Man Within short had me more excited for Beyond the Spider-Verse. That was a good short. I did like that short. Jocelyn says, animation can pull off the multiverse much better than live action. There's more freedom and less difficulty suspending disbelief. Exactly. I'm totally fine with the Spider-Verse movies being about the Spider-Verse, obviously. But I really want the live-action movies to be grounded, because I just feel like that's where that medium fits better for that kind of thing. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, moving on. So, Fantastic Four is reportedly set to take place in an alternate universe. Speaking of the multiverse, they're still doing it. We're still in the multiverse saga. Apparently, the Fantastic Four movie will be a multiverse movie, because it takes place in an alternate universe, and maybe somehow they got to get to the 616 universe. I don't know. That's just speculation. But, I mean, I'm still looking forward to it. I'm still looking forward to Fantastic Four. I do like Pedro Pascal. The cast is actually kind of growing on me. I wasn't impressed at first, but I kind of like it now. I'm still looking forward to Fantastic Four, but the fact that it is another multiverse movie is like, really? Again? Did you really need to have it set place in another alternate universe? Is that even necessary? I mean, firstly, the Fantastic Four movie is already a period film. It takes place in the past. I'm pretty sure it takes place in the 60s or something like that. So it's already a period film, and it's in an alternate universe? That's a lot. That's a lot that they're trying to do. I just don't know. I want them to leave behind this multiverse stuff. I want them to leave it behind. I understand they have a lot of loose threads that they have to tie up, but I wish that they would just tie it up in Deadpool and Wolverine and then, like, never touch the multiverse again. That's what I wish they would do. But it doesn't look like that's what they're doing. Does this make you more or less excited for Fantastic Four, knowing now that it's a multiverse film? Strangefinger hopes it's good. Yeah. CD Wood says, I don't know how to feel about Fantastic Four now. Why do they keep using the multiverse concept? Yeah, I think it's getting old. I think a lot of people are over it. I agree. Yeah, that super is over it. Du Bois says, I feel like Marvel just pulls out the multiverse excuse whenever they don't want to pay attention to past material. Yeah, I feel like the only reason I could think they would place this in an alternate universe is because they don't want the baggage of all the lore that they're dealing with from Marvel, like all the previous movies and stuff. I feel like that's why they're doing it, to try to put them in their own bubble. I guess to try to explain why the Fantastic Four were never around in the 616 universe. But it's still like, why make it multiverse again? I just feel like, I don't know. I'm just over the multiverse stuff. I don't think they've particularly done it well. So I'm hoping they do it well this time. What makes me hopeful about this one is that the director is one of the directors on WandaVision. And I loved WandaVision so much. It's one of my favorite things Marvel ever made. And the fact that the director of that is working on this is what gets me excited. So I have faith in the director that maybe he can do the multiverse thing right, maybe. But other than that, I'm a little nervous. I know, you get to see Prancer. Yeah, he wanted his screen time today, I guess. Marla says less because they messed up too much in the past. Yeah, I think Marvel probably knows that their canon, their timeline is messed up. So that's probably why they have them in an alternate universe, just so that they're not touched by all the mess that's going on in the MCU. Jack is a fan of things, says, less excited. Also, the cast just seems like they picked the most popular actors right now and hope for the best. You know what, this cast, like I said, I wasn't entirely thrilled about this cast at first. And I think part of the reason is because it does feel like stunt casting. Marvel didn't really used to do stunt casting, other than maybe RDJ. Other than that, they usually went for, like, lesser-known actors and then made them into a star. So now that they're going for stars outright, to me, it feels a little desperate, and it doesn't really fit with the vibe of the MCU. But that's just my opinion. But anyway, moving on to the next topic. So, speaking of the MCU, I'm now also worried about the next Captain America film. Because Anthony Mackie had this to say. He said, talking about that there's not much creative freedom in the MCU. He said, that's the hard thing about the Marvel Universe. It's like you can't really go outside of the lines of these comic books. Now, why is he saying this? I feel like Anthony Mackie, for the past couple of months, really, has been occasionally dropping these little lines, like, kind of criticizing the MCU. Like, I feel like he's probably completely disillusioned with the whole thing, but he's contractually obligated to be in these movies and stuff. Because he keeps dropping these little lines here and there, where it just sounds like he's completely done. And now that he's complaining about there not being much creative freedom in the MCU, it makes me worry about the quality of this movie. So, are you saying that while you were making this movie, you weren't feeling very creative? Because that's not good. Doesn't he realize this kind of reflects badly on his movie a bit? At least it does to me. Am I reading into things too much? I don't know. I feel like Anthony Mackie is a very smart guy, and I feel like he's also very self-aware. And I think he understands where the MCU is at right now and how his place in it. I think he understands that, honestly, I'm not sure how the Captain America film is going to do. It has the name Captain America on it, which should sell tickets, but it's not Chris Evans. So, and I think he knows that, and so I think maybe he's a little bit nervous about how his movie's going to do. Is it going to be like a Marvel situation? I don't think it's going to be that bad or do that badly. Not even close. If Captain America did as badly as the Marvels, that would be awful. I don't think that at all. But I think maybe he is a little worried that it might not do too well or something. I don't know. But just every comment he's been dropping lately about the MCU just tells me that he's maybe a little bit done and over with it. What do you guys think about this, though? Du Bois says it's a difficult balance. You can't use a book, comic, or otherwise, word for word as a screenplay, but if you want to keep it at least somewhat in line with the source material. I think that, yes, when you adapt something, you have to change certain things because, like, not everything translates across mediums. But I think for the most part, when you have something that's so beloved and cherished by a large group of people, I think it makes sense to essentially try to be as close to the source material as you can, because that's what made people love it. I don't understand this whole thing of, like, Hollywood right now feeling like when they adapt something, they gotta change everything. It's like, you adapted something because it was popular, and it was popular for a reason, so why are you changing things? That's a completely different tangent, but I just had to say that. Okay, Nate agrees with him. Alright. Jocelyn says Bucky is rumored to not be in it. Yes, that was actually the next thing. So, Sebastian Stan is officially not returning as Bucky Barnes in Captain America Brave New World. So, I feel like this... what the heck was Falcon and the Winter Soldier about then? I really thought that show was setting up Bucky and Sam being together and like being good bro friends or whatever, because that's what that show was about. So him not being in this movie is weird, because we kind of left that show with them being like the bestest of bros in a way. So to him not even be in this movie, it's like, where the heck did Bucky go? And are we ever going to see Bucky again? Well, oh yeah, he's in Thunderbolts, right? I guess we'll see him in Thunderbolts. But I still think it's weird that he's not in this movie when he was such a huge part of the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. So I think this is a loss for the movie, and it does kind of hamper my excitement a little bit. I'm still excited for the film, but it's a bummer that he's not in it. Are you guys sad about this? Do you not care? How do you feel? They should be a team, Primal Plasma. They made such a good team together. I'm kind of bummed that they're not together again. I know, Ethereal Dragon. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was not a great show, but I did like the dynamic between Bucky and Sam. I thought that was the best part of the show. Astronomy says that really seemed like it was setting up Bucky being Sam's friend in this movie. Exactly! That entire show seemed like it was setting up for another Bucky-Sam movie. So him not being in this is weird to me. They're making a big mistake, maybe. Burning Daylighter says, I think it makes no sense to not have him in it. Yep, completely agree. They should totally be a team. Marvel's making a lot of weird choices lately. Not really sure where their head's at. But moving on. So, The Last of Us Season 2 is reportedly expected to release in March/April of next year. Remember when I said that next year is super jam-packed? We've got The Last of Us, we've got House of the Dragon, we've got Fantastic Four, and I think Blade's coming on next year, supposedly. We have a lot of really big stuff. The Boys is coming out this year. What else is coming out next year? We have a lot of games, like Grand Theft Auto is supposedly coming out next year, I believe. So there's a lot of big stuff coming out next year. I'm really looking forward to the media that's coming out. Anyone excited for The Last of Us Season 2? I played the game, and because I played the game right before the show came out, I felt like I was just watching the game again. So I actually haven't finished the season because I knew where it was all going. I literally played the entire game right before the show started. So I knew the whole story, and then when I was watching the show, I just felt like I was playing the game again. So I gotta go back and finish like the last couple episodes, but I know the story, I know where it goes, and I'm gonna watch Season 2. I just gotta get back to it. But are you guys excited for this season? Did you like this show? Did you watch it? Tell me. Anna Bear's excited. Jocelyn's excited. Seems like a lot of people are excited, yeah. Yeah, the game is really good. I loved the game. Really like Season 1. Yeah, Season 1's pretty good. Like I said, I haven't seen like the last 2 or 3 episodes, but I've seen the majority of the season. It was really good, and I know how it ends because I played the game. Primal Plasma says, I bet someone's going to make a Helldivers movie. What is Helldivers? I haven't heard of that one. Is that a game? Josh says, I like the cast for The Last of Us Season 2, and I think Isabella Merced is going to become a huge star, as she's also Hawkgirl in Superman. Hawkgirl? Well, maybe. I think, is Isabella Merced the one that's playing, Abby? Is that the one? Is that the actress? I have no idea what they're going to do with that character, because she's so hated by the fan base. I feel sad for the actress, because I know she's going to get so much hate that she did not ask for. But that's just the way fandom is right now. But anyway, also what's coming out, or actually not coming out potentially, is Season 3 of Euphoria. So production has been delayed because they're reportedly changing the storyline away from high school into more early adulthood, which I think makes a lot of sense. This show is very adult for it to be about a bunch of kids, but whatever. HBO agreed to give the showrunner more time to get it right. Now, they're saying it's delayed, however, there is a rumor that it might just get canceled altogether. So a cast member who wished to remain anonymous has said that they don't think Euphoria Season 3 will happen. It was 2 full years of HBO telling all the actors we were going back soon, so we couldn't take some jobs. Now, remember I told you guys I like to read a lot of blinds? Because I like reading celebrity blinds. And there's actually some blinds about this, so maybe take this with a giant heap of salt. I can't corroborate these blinds. I don't know if they're true. But what the blinds are saying is that this show is definitely going to get canceled because apparently Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney are kind of in a battle. Sydney Sweeney wants to be paid more than Zendaya because she thinks she's a bigger star than Zendaya now, while Zendaya's like, no, I'm the star, I'm the lead of this show. And I don't think either one is maybe going to want to work with each other, potentially. I think Sydney Sweeney wants to move on because her career is going so well. And even other people like Hunter Schafer, Jacob Elordi. A lot of people from that last season of Euphoria got a huge boost to their career. So I feel like a lot of people just want to move away from this show and do their own thing now. So I think that, honestly, the show probably will just get canceled. I don't see it coming back. I could be wrong, but I don't see it coming back. Anna says it was too triggering for you. Yeah, me too. That's why I didn't like it. I tried to start watching this show, and then I had to stop because I was just like, what is this? Helixier says, how do you even afford them for a series without making the budget insane? Exactly! Most of the cast at this point has become like pretty huge stars. So I feel like if they do a next season, yeah, the budget's probably going to be insane because they're going to have to up a lot of people's salaries. Anna Bear says, Sydney Sweeney deserves more money just on GP that she had to act practically nude. I mean, that's true. I mean, I think when you do nudes, don't you get paid slightly more money? I feel like that's a thing, right? I just don't think that she should get paid more than Zendaya on her own show. And I don't think that she's a bigger star than Zendaya yet. I think maybe they're on the same level, but I don't see her as bigger. Not yet. Zendaya still has a lot more bigger franchise than Sydney Sweeney does. Okay, Check Santo says, I don't see the hype around Sweeney. I think it's just because she's hot with big boobs. It's not like she's a great actress. It's literally just her looks. The Blue Gecko Nerd says, fun fact, Ginny from Blackpink was in The Idol. I know, I did see that. Anyone sad that this show might not come back? It doesn't seem like you guys are that surprised or care. Oh, Cowboy Fan, that rumor is sadly true? Interesting. Do you know something? Do you know something interesting? Okay. I mean, like I said, those blinds are basically saying this show ain't coming back. So, I think it's going to get canceled. Five Fruit says Sydney Sweeney has the charisma of a spoon. Oh, God. I think she has some charisma, you know? When I watched her in Madam Web, did I think she was great acting? No, but I thought she had, like, great stage presence. Like, she has great screen presence. You know what? She was good in The White Lotus. Have you guys seen her in The White Lotus? She was good in that. I liked her in that. I think she's really good when she plays a bitchy mean girl. I hate to say it, but I feel like that's her lane. In Madam Web, she was trying to play like a dorky nerd, and that's just not something I think is believable for her. So it just did not work out at all. Okay, CD Woods is glad that Euphoria might get canceled. Yeah, maybe. Grunge Lizard says, I'm pro Sweeney. I can't respect anyone who dates Tom Holland. What? What's wrong with Tom? I mean, you can have your opinion, but what's wrong with Tom that you can't respect someone who would date him? I feel like Tom is so unproblematic. Caditip says she had charisma in Anyone But You. I haven't seen that yet. I feel like I'll probably see it eventually, but I did hear that she was decent in it, so that's good. But anyway, I'll be shocked if this show comes back. I feel like everyone's too big of a star now and they all want to do their own thing and they're too expensive, so I think the show's going to get canceled. Now, speaking of shows that I thought was going to get canceled but actually didn't, Velma Season 2 will be coming out on Max in exactly 1 month. So, because I reacted to Season 1, and it became such a big deal for my channel, and it helped blow up my channel, I feel like I can't not cover this show. So, what I'm doing, because I'm not doing my traditional reaction videos anymore. Sorry. I won't even have the time anymore because I have another full-time job, and I just don't want to. So what I'm doing instead is I'm going to do discussion podcasts, like after the show podcasts. So every Friday, when the show is airing, I'm going to be doing a discussion podcast. We're going to talk about the 2 episodes. I'm going to scrub through the episodes, and we're going to talk about each scene. If you guys were there for when I did a review of the South Park episode, and you guys remember I was scrubbing through the episode scene by scene, and we were talking about everything, and we were reacting to it, I'm going to do the same thing for Velma. So you guys are still going to see me react to Velma, but it's also going to be live, and we're going to discuss it. So that's how I'm going to do my Velma coverage. So I hope you guys are excited for this. I'm actually excited, not gonna lie. I'm low-key kind of excited for this. I feel like by the end of Season 1, I had slowly started to, like, just go with the show and the craziness and the kookiness, and I was just like, alright, whatever, at least it's entertaining. So I'm kind of looking forward to the show coming back, not gonna lie. But yeah. I will definitely be covering it. We'll be having a nice reaction / discussion about it every Friday, so I hope you're there for that. It's going to be fun. I know about copyright. I'm not going to play the video. I'm just going to scrub through it. So, I've done this before. It should be fine, because I'm not going to play anything. I'm just going to scrub through it. So, it should be okay. It's basically stills. Oh, bless my soul. Shell Pedro will be there. That's great. Helixir says, we actually watched the South Park episode, but when it comes to Velma, I don't think we can do the homework. Oh, yeah, I get it. I get it. I'm excited to roast Velma too, Josh. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. But anyway, moving on. So, Joker. Joker Folie à Deux, which is such a pretentious title, will have at least 15 reinterpretations of very well-known songs. So it's going to be a jukebox musical a la Moulin Rouge. Now, I love Moulin Rouge. Moulin Rouge is actually one of my top 5 favorite films of all time. I've seen that movie so many times I can quote it off the back of my hand. I love Moulin Rouge. Moulin Rouge is one of those movies that made me fall in love with musicals. So if this is anything at all like Moulin Rouge, and even this shot reminds me of Moulin Rouge, because there's a shot in Moulin Rouge where the two are dancing on a rooftop with a big moon in the background. So this is literally like out of Moulin Rouge, to me at least, just in black and white. So if this is like Moulin Rouge, then I'll be happy, but I was kind of hoping for original songs, not gonna lie. What songs are they gonna use though? Like, it's gonna be very weird if, like, they start singing some Whitney Houston song, you know? Like, what kind of songs? What genre? Are they going to be rock songs? Are they going to be jazz songs? Are they going to be, like, singing some, like, Stevie Nicks or something? I have no idea. They should sing some, I don't know, Harry Styles? I don't know. One Direction or something? I have no idea. I'm very curious what 15 songs they're going to choose. 15 is a lot. Y'all, 15 is a lot of songs. That basically means this movie is going to be nothing but continuous songs, because 15 is a lot. What kind of songs do you want to be in this movie? What songs do you think fit the vibe of this film? I have no idea. Are they going to start singing Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend just like they did in Moulin Rouge? That'd be really funny. Maybe they should sing some Lady Gaga songs. Would it be funny if, like, they sang Bad Romance? Or would that be too on the nose? I'm still pumped for this. I love musicals, so I'm excited. I'm actually more excited for the sequel than I was for the first one, just because I love musicals. And I know I'm in the minority on that one. I totally get it, but I don't care. I love musicals. Ethereal Dragon says hard pass. That's fine. Five Fruit says we wanted a deep thriller movie, not La La Land with clown makeup. Okay, but La La Land with clown makeup sounds fun. Personally, I think this is going to come down to a taste issue. I think this is going to be either you're into it or you're not. I think that's what this is going to be. Anna Bear, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Moulin Rouge was so unique. They took so much time and put so much love into it. I'm not sure this one will even compare, but we'll see. I hope so. I really hope so. I do think that Todd Phillips, I think his name is, the director, I think he's a good director. I think that there's a lot of talent here involved that I still have a lot of faith in this movie. And this shot really does remind me a lot of Moulin Rouge, down to the moon and everything. Like, this is Moulin Rouge, but in black and white. So, I don't know. I'm still looking forward to it, but yeah. I just hope that they get it right. But thank you for the super chat. Oh, God. Stop, Five Fruit. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what happens. Moving on. So, Juan Carlo Esposito says that he is probably not returning as Moff Gideon in the Mandalorian and Grogu film because they have not called him. Which means they're probably getting another villain, probably from the Ahsoka series or one of the Filoni villains or something. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like this Mandalorian and Grogu movie is going to require like umpteen million hours of homework just to understand a single scene. And I feel like this movie's becoming really niche, especially if you're not even continuing the threads from the show. Like, if you were at least continuing where the show left off, you should have Moff Gideon in there somewhere. But if they're not, that means that it's going to not be a direct continuation and they're doing something different. And I just feel like you're going to confuse a lot of people who don't follow this stuff really closely. So, I don't know. I feel like this Grogu movie is going to be very niche. But what do you guys think? Are you guys excited for this Star Wars movie? Or are you like me and you're like, I'll see it just to talk about it and cover it. But like, I don't know. I'm not super into it. But what do you guys think? Yeah, I know he's really great. He's really great in the role too, so it sucks that they're not asking him back. Again, what kind of decisions are they making over there at Disney? I don't really get it. Do you guys think this movie will be a hit? I mean, it is Star Wars, but Star Wars has been in a much better place before than it is now, so I have no idea what's going to happen. Jocelyn says, will people see it after how the show went downhill? I have no idea, because didn't most people, like, not even finish season 3? I'm pretty sure I remember it being, like, a huge, well, maybe not a huge story, but it was definitely a story that, like, a huge significant number of people didn't even finish season 3. So, if that many people didn't even finish season 3, how do they expect people to, like, want to go see the movie? That's why I'm like, I feel like this is just going to be really niche. CD Wood says flop. Okay. Helixir says, I want Star Wars to stop existing. Oh my god, just stop? I told you guys what I think they need to do. I think they need to take a break. Just like a long, long break. And then come back with a reboot. I don't say we should reboot things often, but I think Star Wars needs a reboot. Just to swipe the slate clean and start over with all new actors as Han, Luke, Leia. I think that's what they need to do, honestly. I know Prancer's he's upset because I'm not playing with him. I don't know if you can hear, but he's like crying behind me. Oh my gosh. What are you doing? Sorry, he wanted me to hold him because he has to be the star of attention at all times. Say hi, Prancer. People want to say hi. Alright. Can I put you down now? Yeah? Okay. I think he just wanted to say hi, I guess. But anyway, moving on to the next topic. So speaking of sci-fi, Star Trek 4 is still happening with the reboot cast from 2009. I'm actually really excited about this. I know not a lot of people, or at least a lot of Star Trek fans, like those Star Trek movies because they think they're too Star Wars, but I actually really like those Star Wars movies, especially the original Star Trek movie from 2009. I think that cast is great. I actually like those movies. I'm super into this. I'm here for it. I feel like I'm alone in my little island getting excited about this, but I don't care. I will be there day one for Star Trek 4. I love these movies. So, I'm here for it. Are you guys here for more Star Trek? Or are you like, really? Aren't we done with this franchise? Nicholas Wilson, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, give Prancer a treat for me. Of course, I'm definitely going to give him a treat. He's such a good boy. Oh my gosh. He's literally in my closet. He's trying to tell me he wants to go for a walk. I can't. Sorry. Anna Bear grew up loving Star Trek. I've always liked Star Trek. I've been more of a Star Trek girl than a Star Wars girl my whole life, so I guess maybe you're always just one or the other. I was a Star Trek girl. Helixir says Star Trek is niche but not overexposed to normal people. That's true, that's true. Okay, Evil Connor agrees. Star Trek over Star Wars any day. I'm so glad you agree. Ethereal Dragon says need longer seasons for, and Lower Decks. Yeah, I haven't been watching all of the shows. I've seen a couple of the shows, and I used to watch Discovery, but then I fell off. I need to get back on watching the shows. There's just so many now. I feel like it's hard to keep up with all of them. Cowboy loves these two. Okay, I'm glad that you guys are excited, because there's so many people who, act like these movies are terrible, and I'm like, what movies are you watching? These movies are great. I love them. But anyway, moving on. So, Godzilla -1 director Takashi Yamazaki has signed with a Hollywood agency for representation, which basically means we might get more work from this guy here in the States, which is great. Anyone who has seen Godzilla -1 knows that this guy knows how to direct a movie. So, I want him to direct everything. He says he wants to direct a Star Wars movie. Maybe he should go direct a Star Wars movie. If this guy makes a Star Wars movie, I will actually be excited to go see a Star Wars movie. Because I want more from him. I want more people like him and Denis Villeneuve to create really cool science fiction movies, because we need more talented people like that. So, the fact that he's got representation now here in the US means that we might actually get more work from him here, and I think that's so great. And the fact that just one movie did all of this for him is so great. But the movie really is that good, so he deserves it. Oh, Anna Bear says he's too good for Hollywood? I mean, Hollywood needs a lot of help. Hollywood needs a lot more good, talented people, so I think Hollywood needs him, not gonna lie. Yes, Josh, I totally agree. Give him a Star Wars movie. Please give him a Star Wars movie. He's obviously a big fan. Oscar says, but what if they give him a big budget movie and it looks bad? Oh, that would be very disappointing. I mean, what if it looks good, though? I feel like Godzilla looked really good, and they had, $5 to make that movie, so I don't know. I have a lot of faith in him. So I think he'll be fine. Vincent says Godzilla -1 is far better anything but about modern garbage movies that we had. I think you're saying it's better than a lot of movies that we get, but yes, totally agree. When I watched Godzilla -1, it reminded me of, older movies. Older movies when, movies were, consistently good. I don't know how to describe it, but, Godzilla -1 just had, a throwback feel in the sense that it felt like it came out when, before TikTok. I don't know how else to describe it. That's just how I feel about the movie. But anyway, moving on. So, Disney Plus and Hulu have launched their merged app together. Subscribers to both Disney Plus and Hulu can now see the full Hulu experience on Disney Plus. This is a pretty big deal just because I think that this is one of many contractions in the streaming industry that we'll see. I think we'll see a lot of streaming talent, or streaming studios, I should say, like merging and combining because there's way too many streaming services. So I think it makes a lot of sense that Disney and Hulu have decided to merge. I really think we need to see these other streaming services merge too, because no one's going to be paying for umpteen million streaming services. So I think this is a positive sign. I think this is good for consumers. So I'm happy about this. Anyone else happy about this? Anyone else using Hulu, Disney? I know this is a very American thing because outside of America, Disney Plus has Star. But at least here in America, this is a pretty big deal. CD Wood says, haha, in Canada, we already had Hulu. Okay, well, I'm talking about America then. HP says,
I can't translate into Canada.
I'm not talking to you, Siri. Why is Siri always trying to talk to me? HP says the Hulu app is better than the Disney one, though. Why merge in Plus? I think it's still good to merge because, like I said, we don't need to be paying for like 10 different streaming services. We need to be merging. I think this is good for consumers, honestly. It was overdue, yeah. Nicholas Wilson says it's been like that on UK Disney Plus for a long time. Okay, you guys don't have to rub it in our faces. I get it. I get it. This is a very American story. But I had to share it, okay? Siri is very nosy. Ethereal Dragon says, might as well since Disney owns so much of Hulu. Exactly, exactly. I think this was always inevitable. Now, I do have WTF news. Now, today's WTF news isn't really, like, bad WTF. It's more like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So, Christopher Nolan is now a knight. Christopher Nolan will receive a knighthood in England and become Sir Christopher Nolan. His producing partner and wife Emma Thomas will also receive a damehood. So Christopher Nolan has received or will receive a knighthood, which is so fascinating to me. And I love that the UK still does stuff like that. Like the fact that they still have a royal family, the fact that they still have knights. It's just so old school. I love it. Isn't Ian McKellen also a knight? It's just so funny that we're still doing knighthoods in 2024, but like, it's fine. Good for Christopher Nolan. I think he deserves it. He's really having a moment after Oppenheimer, so good for him. You won't be calling him that? You won't be calling him Sir Christopher Nolan? I guess that's how everyone has to call him now, Sir Christopher Nolan. But yeah, good for him though. Anyway, that was it for today. Thank you all for coming to my show. I love talking to you guys. I really do. Again, because it's Easter this Sunday, we will not be having a show this Sunday. But of course, we will be back next week with another new show. So have a nice Easter, you guys. Thank you for coming to the show. And I'll